Hello and welcome to Faraway Faye. Today I'm going to be doing the end of the year book tag, I believe it is called. It is not the one where you like wrap up your year of reading. It is created to help you finish off your year of reading, and then at the end of the year you have the end of the year book freakout tag, possibly, or is that mid-year freakout? I don't remember, but there is an end of the year tag where you do it in like the end of December, which I will be doing. But this is kind of wrapping up fall, going into the end of the year. What are my completion goals? Things like that. So I have surpassed my Goodreads goal of 30 books. I did 2 of 30 books, and I am at 45 books, I believe. So that is very exciting, and I am really proud of myself for that. I definitely think quarantine helped a lot in that aspect. I'm still proud of myself nevertheless. So we're just gonna jump into the tag. I have all the questions here on my phone, and yes, we're just gonna get started. The first question is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? I actually have had a few DNFs this year, so I'm not gonna count those because I don't want to finish them. I finally let myself DNF books. For a long time I would like force myself to go into a reading slump by reading books that I did not like, and now if I'm not feeling a book, I will just put it to the side, donate it if it's mine, send it right back to the library if it's not. But I do have 2 books that are mine that I do intend on finishing. One of them not this year, but I still thought I'd include it, and that is It by Stephen King. I am highlighting and annotating this book, so it's taking me longer than usual. Also, it's literally the size of a brick, so I'm not really rushing myself per se. I'm probably like 100 pages in out of like over 1,000. So, but I am annotating it for each individual loser, and yes, so this is going to take me a while, but I don't really think I'm going to finish this by the end of the year. It's not really a high priority, but it is something I'm going to be working on till the end of the year and into next year. And then the next book that I need to finish, that I'm actually going to finish by the end of the year, is How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi. I am annotating this book as well, just for my personal learning. I'm treating this as a textbook almost. I'm taking notes, stuff like that, because I do think that this information is really important to be anti-racist, not just not racist. It's important to be anti-racist, and this book really goes into the history of racism and how the system was built from the beginning against Black people, and how those systems are still in place today, and things like being raised into racism and just like beliefs that people have. So it's a really interesting book, and I really want to finish it this year, so I will be definitely prioritizing this one in the month of November. Number 2, do you have an autumnal book to transition to the end of the year? I don't currently have it, but I do have it planned or like in my head, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Basically, the book follows our main character, Addie LaRue, I believe. Again, haven't read it yet. She makes a deal in the 1700s to live forever, and the curse that is put on her in exchange is that everyone she meets forgets her. So that is like where the story is, and I'll explain to you why it is my autumnal kind of transition book. Transitioning into winter, I really like magical vibes, like Chronicles of Narnia kind of magic, where it's just very magical. And I don't think this book is necessarily magical, but it does have that kind of surrealistic feel to it, and I think that that is just the perfect vibes for going into winter. Magic of any type is perfect for winter for me, and yes, so I think that that is going to be a good read. I plan on going and buying it soon. If not ebook, then I'll go buy it at like Barnes and Noble. I prefer to read it like that, but I will get an ebook if I can't get out and grab one. Next, we have number 3. Is there any new release you're still waiting for? In December, there's a book called The Love Curse of Melody McIntyre that is going to be coming out, and it is a queer theater kid book. I was not a theater kid, but I do admire the theater kids that were in my high school. But this book, I believe, is sapphic, follows to women in the theater that fall in love. I could be wrong, but going off the cover and some of the reviews, that's what I picked up on. I guess its own voices, which is really exciting too. So I'm really excited to pick that up, hopefully when it comes out in December. If not, then I'll pick it up later in the year in 2021. Next we have number 4. What are 3 books that you want to read before the end of the year? So I have The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones, Hood Feminism by Mickey Kendall, and The House of the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. All 3 of these are something that I'm really excited about for each individual reason. I've heard a ton about The Only Good Indians, and I know that it's horror, so I'm not necessarily like, I think horror fits this time of year really well as well, even though it's like you would think like spooky. I'm talking like just genuine horror. I believe it's also taking place in winter, so that's pretty cool. Hood Feminism I just want to read by the end of the year because I think it sounds like a really good book talking about how Black women have been left out of feminism. And then The House of the Cerulean Sea, I've just heard everyone and their mother talk about it, and I'm really intrigued, and it is like people's top favorite book, so I'm very interested to see my personal take on it. Number 5, is there a book that you think that can still shock you and become your favorite of the year? That one I'm picking The Only Good Indians because I have just heard such amazing reviews for it. Like, people actually have a lot to say about it. Synopsis sounds really cool to me, of like something they did in their past is coming to haunt them in their future. It just sounds really cool, and I think it's going to be a phenomenal book, and I'm very, very excited to read it. And then the last question is, have you already started making reading plans for 2020? I've already decided that my Goodreads goal is going to be 30 again. Hopefully COVID is not a big thing next year. Like, we can find some vaccines and things like that, and we can go back to normal life. So I'm expecting to have a little less free time. I'm taking a lot more harder classes next year that are going to be taking up a lot more of my time and things like that. So I didn't want to like overshoot it, because like that really disappoints me when I don't hit a goal. I also want to read at least 1 book every month written by an author of color. Obviously I would love to read more. I realized that I was looking at my shelf before there was the discussion of reading more by people of color, and I was like, my shelves are so white, like they truly are. And so I really want to make the effort to read more by people of color, and there's so many amazing books out there that are not promoted as much, or they're not seen in the media as much because they're written by people of color. And so I would love to really implement that next year in really trying hard to seek out those books and seek out those own voices novels, because it is important to me, and I think it's important to boost those voices. And my last goal of 2021 is to try romance/erotica. I have been known to not really care for romance and YA. I always have found it cheesy and everything, but I have quite a few Twitter friends that are super into like steamy books, and I think that that could be an interesting read. So I've been looking on NetGalley, but like those are all kind of like iffy. So if you have any erotica, what is the word? Recommendations, then please send me them, because I would love to get into that genre. It seems like y'all are having a great time, and I would love to have a great time with you. So please send me your recommendations of spicy novels. I would love to get into that. So that is it for the tag today. Thank you so much for watching. All my links will be down below. Make sure to click the subscribe button if you are not. Follow me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter way too much, and I talk to everybody on there. So make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that good stuff. I hope to see you again next time. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you later.